In 2001, I released a CD compilation of my Sunday show comedy vignettes. It was called Radio Immortals, and from the liner notes I read, Webster's defines immortals as living forever, enduring. Radio Immortals is a tribute to the people and radio shows of a bygone era over 30 years ago. The shows were recorded live, without scripts or notes, not even an outline. They are completely ad-lib. We're sure you'll find these radio cartoons of the air as funny now as then. That's what makes them timeless, and thus Radio Immortals. And I pay tribute to my fellow players, Charlie Kissinger, Jeff Douglas, and Gary Burbank. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the Radio Immortals.
Now, the red line will indicate to you the progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat for you this afternoon. We'll be speaking with a representative of the Muck and Meyer Development Corporation. Sir,
I beg your pardon?
We're going to do a radio interview, and
certainly.
Your name is
Wade.
Wade.
Yeah, Wade Through.
Wade Through. I say.
You can call me Wade.
You are a representative of the Muck and Meyer Development Corporation. Is that
Muck and Meyer Development Corporation? That's right.
Is that a large organization?
Large and getting larger. Yes, it's going to be tremendous. Well,
what type of an organization is it, Wade?
We encourage people to invest for their own good in land, of course, and we have these entire areas of land throughout the country. We've had some big development areas already that have progressed through our efforts.
You buy land and then sell it?
Yes, we have several places around the country right now. I could mention some to you, but it would take a long time.
Well, go ahead. We've got a little
Well, just
time.
A couple. We have the Swampland Lagoons.
Swampland Lagoons?
Yeah, that's out in Florida.
What is that exactly? Is that...
well,
it doesn't sound too enticing.
No, it's not. I wouldn't say that it was enticing in a sense, but on the other hand, who knows what's under that swamp?
That's right.
I mean, they discovered marble in Alabama under swamp, you know, and there's no telling what they'll discover in Florida. They discovered part of Alabama.
The part that was under the
yeah.
I see. Well, I guess there's a trick, isn't there, to buying land? What should one know before they buy land?
A number of things. One thing is weather. Weather's extremely important.
Weather?
Temperature, yeah. For example, when we bought the Great Northwestern Ice Slides, we didn't go up there in the summer. We're doing great stuff here. I mean, the way I see it, we have the Barren River Straits. We're working on that right now.
That's here in Kentucky, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's going to be our biggest thing to date.
Could you describe that land for us?
Oh, I can. Actually, it's, you've heard of an arroyo, haven't you?
A what?
An arroyo?
No, sir.
That's where rivers used to be. Well, a Barren River is going to be sort of seasonal. I mean, we have there so sometimes there's water, sometimes there's not. We have the Moses tributary that comes in once a year. And actually, the homes there are going to be on pontoons. Yeah, with 100-foot ropes tied to shore. And as a side company, in case there's a little trouble, we have the anchor and boat service.
I see.
Yeah, it's going to be a terrific thing. Listen, you wouldn't like to make a little investment, would you?
How much could one buy a plot of land for in the Barren River Straits?
Well, let me put it this way. You may think it's a big investment, but our down payment is so low. Our down payment is, well, I'll tell you what we'll do for you. We'll give you an acre of bottom land right in the Barren River for $50. And that's only a beginning. Because the bigger that river gets, the more your money's worth.
I suppose it would be.
Oh, you'll have fertile land there. Think of your undersea crops. I mean, oceanographers want that area. But we're keeping it for people, working people like yourself, a family man. You're a family man, are you not?
Yes,
married?
sir.
That's right. You're a salaried individual. We keep it for people like that because there's too many rich people in this country right now. At least that's the way I've always felt.
How did your company come about with its name, Muck and Meyer? That's,
Well, it is kind of catchy.
Yes, it is.
Actually, we were rained out of a couple of places, and we were doing some work in India during the monsoon. Some years ago, we were going over there to try to help the Indians out of their money, and it got rained on. They call them the monsoons over there, and actually, we were pretty well bogged down. We were going to call it the Bogged Down Construction Company, but there was one of the fellows married a girl whose maiden name was Bog. You know how that is, and it gets to be a mess. So we called it Muck and Meyer.
Muck and Meyer.
Yeah. And
it's got a lusty type of old Western...
Yeah, and it helped us because they were a couple of our creditors, and they let us use the name. You name something after somebody, they feel good about it, you know. Anyway, it's been a terrific hit ever since that name, as a matter of fact. We started to go straight up. We got the plane out of there as quick as we could, and went to Idaho for a while. Idaho's a big potato.
From India to Idaho.
Yeah, we like the eyes.
Hung up on the eyes.
Yeah, the eyes have it. And at least that's what I've always said.
Well, how long have you been with the Muck and Meyer Development Corporation?
12 days. But the company's...
Having only been with the company for 12 days, how do you know all this stuff about the company?
Well, I'm not the kind of guy that just jumps into things. You can understand that by looking at me.
Right.
You know. Actually, this suit I'm wearing ought to tell you something. You know the way a man dresses. It's made of genuine cloth. But I'm the kind of guy that does a little research.
Right.
When I was skeptical, as I know you must be, about the Muck and Meyer Company. But I did a little research, and I found out that there was a lot of land on their property. And I thought, well, this must be a good place to get in, you know, to go to work for these people and find about. So I went over, and they said I was what they were looking for. A guy who really knew where it was and was going to try to get it.
And you were hired right on the spot?
I was hired right on the spot, actually, because we didn't have any chairs in the office. And I went right to work immediately for them. I took their brochure, and I read the page through. And I knew right away that, you know, those 12 sentences were going to make me a rich man.
What were those 12 sentences? What did they say?
I don't know what they said exactly, but they said a lot of things like keep your chin up. And of course, in our land, you kind of have to, because, like I say, we seem to have getting a lot of rainy places.
Wasn't I reading a few weeks ago where the Muck and Meyer Development Corporation has come under congressional fire, is going to be investigated by the Senate Judiciary Committee for unfair developing tactics?
Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to come clean with you because I like your face. I'm serious about this. That's just a disgruntled employee who made up a lot of false material, a lot of false forms, and sent them to the government. We welcome that investigation. I mean, we welcome it. We're proud of what we've done, and that's this disgruntled employee, Sam Sorehead. He was there. He worked for us for a while. As a matter of fact, I took his place.
I see you took Sam Sorehead's place, huh?
Sam left suddenly. And as a matter of fact, I don't think he'll show up at the hearing. But we have a thorough and complete operation here, and I know that once the Senate investigating committees find out about it and realize that their checks are in the mail.
Wade, have you invested in land from Muck and Meyer yourself?
Let me tell you, pal, I'm not a guy, I'm not a front runner. I'm a person who has invested himself. I've got a beautiful home in the Swampland Lagoon.
You have a home in the
correct.
Swamplands.
Beautiful. Split level.
Split level?
That's right, split level. I didn't intend it to be that way, but one end of it just sunk in the ground.
Sunk into the swamps, is it? I guess it's a little tricky building on swamps.
Well, it's a little tricky, actually, but if you're fast on your feet, you can get out of there alive.
Well, Wade Through of the Muck and Meyer Development Corporation, I want to thank you for being on our show this afternoon. It's been very enlightening, and I realize you have to run. You mentioned something about an appointment.
Yeah, that's right, pal. I've got an appointment at the Federal Building.
Another land deal?
Oh, I think this might be a time deal.
Of course, on Sunday we've gone many places and done many things and lost a whole lot. But this afternoon we really have a champ of an interview for you. We have as our special guest this afternoon, Pepe Lip-Sync. Now, you may not have ever heard of
Lip-Sync.
Pepper?
Yes.
See, I haven't never heard of him either. Pepper Lip-Sync is a rather unusual person. You have probably heard his voice more times than you know.
Numerous times.
Numerous times. For Pepper Lip-Sync in the movies.
Numerous times, too.
Overdubs voices. How does that work, Pepper?
We use a Sony. And what we do is I dub my voice in. Because most of these movie stars, you would be surprised if you really heard how John Wayne actually sounds.
He doesn't sound... The real John Wayne doesn't sound like John Wayne?
Have you heard the Gary Burbank show when he does Captain Gorgeous?
John Wayne does Captain Gorgeous of Gary Burbank?
That's actually John Wayne doing Captain Gorgeous. It's not really Gary Burbank.
You do John Wayne.
Because that's John Wayne doing his normal voice. He talks sort of like this. And so naturally...
I could see where in a Western that might not go over too well.
No, it doesn't go... I mean, when a cowboy walks into a bar, John Wayne refuses to order a beer or a whiskey. He always walks into a bar and orders a banana daiquiri. Now, for a cowboy to do this, it's just unheard of. So what we do is overdub what goes on. And you'll notice you never see his face
when he's
ordering what he's ordering in a bar.
I've noticed that.
It's always, he always says that. So we dub in, I'll just go, like when they get ready for that, I just go, beer or whiskey. That usually takes a day to shoot.
Give me an example of when you do John Wayne's voice. Just give me an example of John Wayne.
Okay, let's say that John Wayne is helping out the people with sheep, right?
Sure.
Okay, now the guys with the cattle are trying to run them off the range, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now John Wayne confronts the cattle monger. Yeah, well, there's just one guy.
There's got to be more
say.
for John Wayne to take. He doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. I guess. I guess you are
the
right.
The Mongers.
Yeah, okay. They come up to John Wayne and they say, "Okay, we want you and all the shepherds to get out of town."
Right.
John Wayne looks at them and says, "I'll beat you savagely with my purse about your head and ears."
But in the overdub,
when I overdubbed it, of course, I said, "I'll pull your jaw right out of your face."
That's amazing.
Yep.
Those things go on, and
well, that's not the only one I do.
What others do you do?
Well, all of them. Do you know there's not a single movie star in Hollywood that does his own voice?
Really? You do them all?
I do every one of them. Anyone you like, I do them.
What's the most ticklish situation that you've been in when you've had to overdub a star's voice?
Well,
the most difficult one?
The most difficult voice I've ever had to overdub would probably have been Debbie Reynolds.
You do Debbie Reynolds?
Oh, I do a fantastic Debbie Reynolds.
But you do the singing voice too?
Oh yeah.
I don't believe that. There is no way that you can do the singing voice of Debbie Reynolds.
Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
Okay.
Can we have a little music?
I hear the cottonwoods whispering above. Tammy, Tammy, Tammy's in love.
That is amazing. I would never have guessed.
Thank you. Well, it's just something that a talent that I've been blessed with from the man above, and it's something I'm very proud of.
Well, how do you work out the money aspect of it?
Well, I get quite a bit of money for this. I have a home in Beverly Hills. I drive a very nice car. I drive 2 Rolls Royces.
At the same time?
At the same time.
That's tough.
Well, it's not that tough. It's just a matter of coordination.
For those that are just joining us, our guest this afternoon is Pepper Lipsync, who is a world-famous Hollywood linguist that we've just found out.
We don't call it a linguist now. We call it...
I can hardly call it that myself.
I practice linguini.
Which is the art of being a linguist.
Yes. I have to admit that.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm really, my mind is boggled.
I know you're going to ask me. I think most times that I'm interviewed, this question does arise. Is it true, Mr. Lipsync, that that entire time that in President Nixon's career, that I was the one that actually overdubbed, that his voice was never heard? It was always my voice.
There was a rumor to that. I was going to ask you, but I didn't know how to phrase it. But now that you've brought it up, is it true? Did you really do his voice when he was in office?
No.
Come on.
Yes.
Did you?
Well, you got it out of me. Okay, you drug it out of me. Yes. You twisted my arm. Yes, I did. In fact...
Do it now. Do it now for me.
Well...
I don't think you really...
You really don't believe that I did Nixon the entire time he was in office?
I find it difficult to fathom that.
Even those speeches he did, you know that he always bought in a little cassette player. And
underneath the podium?
He would lip sync all the speeches to my voice.
Amazing. Give me an example.
To lower our voices would be a simple thing. We cannot learn from one another until we stop shouting at one another.
That is amazing. Pepper Lipsync right in our studios this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It just boggles my mind that the money that you must make. I mean, you've done you do all the Hollywood voices.
Well,
John Wayne.
Let me.
Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah, I do them all.
Excellent.
I mean, you name any one of them, and I do them. Raquel Welch, Burt Reynolds.
What about
Daffy
Walter
Duck.
Cronkite? You don't do Walter Cronkite.
Well, I hate to.
You do,
this, but I'm Walter Cronkite.
Walter
too.
Cronkite's
Yes,
voice. Give me an example.
What was the remarkable string of events which had brought our nation to the eve of this great adventure?
Unbelievable.